So let's get some insight on the issues raised in Mei Li's report. I want to bring in Dan Li in this conversation. He's an international student in the United States from China. He's joining us from Chicago. Dan, you created a Chinese and English language magazine for your campus to address some of these issues. Tell us about the magazine and the need for it.
Sure. So we created Voice at the first place to trying to connect the Chinese students with their American peers. So we want to maximize their influence on the campus by doing some interviews with young leaders, trying to introduce some cultures from the American background, such as fraternities, sororities. And in addition, we also help those Chinese students to get elected in the student body, which can also raise their voice. So all in all, I think Voice, just like its name suggested, we really look at maximize the influence of Chinese people on the campus.
Maximizing it, but talk to me about, you're at the university level. From your experience, does it get easier the more time you spend as an international student? How would you compare it in terms of the experience for undergraduates versus graduates like yourself?
Well, it's a big difference because for the undergraduate students, we don't have, we share a lot of time with our peers, get a lot of involvement with fraternities, sororities. You can get a lot of exposure to the American way of life. But for the master students, we look more at our professional development. A lot of people, focus on how to find a job, how to acquire the knowledge and skill set, which will be beneficial for my future. So I think the needs for these two groups are totally different.
Dan, if there was a student watching in China thinking about coming to the United States, what would you tell them are the benefits and some of the things that they should look out for coming over here, the differences, the things that may be stumbling blocks for them?
Sure. So a lot of people talking about, language, cultural barriers. But for me, I think this is not even the issue. I mean, the real issue for me is actually the mindset. In China, people value being humble. And in US, people value being, confident, frank. So that being said, if you have 100% of confidence, you will show just 100% of confidence in the US. The Chinese students will show probably 80% or 70%. And that will be a big influence for their, career paths. So I guess my advice for Chinese students here is to get more confidence, more proactive, and trying to voice your concern, and also trying to make a lot of friends here in the U.S.
Well, Dan, you're demonstrating some confidence here, joining us this evening and carrying on the conversation for us. Thanks so much for joining us.